Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. Please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. My name is Tirthapavana Das, and I'm currently coordinating education in ISKCON, Russia. And I was asked to say a few words about this sphere. We all know this famous verse, Yarideha Tarikaha Krishna Upadesh, Amaragya Guru Hoy Taredesh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Srila Prabhupada in his purport says that this is the sublime mission of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which means it is an entirely educational movement. From the very basics of preliminary principles and spiritual life, and up to the time the person actually achieves love to Godhead, he is being trained. When we go to the temple, when we distribute books, when we conduct preaching programs, when we honor prasadam or manage something, all of that is an educational process, both for us and for those we take care of. If we see education just as academical studies in the classroom, it is somewhat limited view that often separates education from our real day-to-day life. But if we look at education in this way, that everything is part of educational process, then all our lives turn into the process of continuous 24-hour study program, which has been described in the Nectar of Devotion. Now, this process can be chaotic when everyone develops under the influence of random circumstances, and we just hope for the divine intervenience of the Super Soul, which will take care of the devotee's growth, or we can serve to systematize this process for its better optimization. So that every devotee, on each level of their spiritual path, would get medicine that would be described for those devotees on that step of the spiritual ladder where they are currently. Now, if we just create a systematic template for everyone, that you study this, study that, and study that, that would probably work for robots, but not for living beings in the sphere of bhakti. For us, we have to make it more individual through the person who could actually observe our lives and guide us in our lives. And not from very big distance. He has to be able to actually look at how we work, walk, talk. So on these basic principles, that education should be practical, ongoing, authoritatively and individually guided, and systematic, we are trying to develop this area in Russia. So that from the very beginning the person gets into the association of those who are more mature and is being guided by them. In order to achieve it, we try to educate educators, provide them with necessary materials and resources, care for them, and bring them into sanghas with each other, so that they could churn Krishna consciousness with each other by 6 loving relationships. And from that, the wave of heat would spread further on to all other Vaishnavas. These are few words that I can say here in this video, as the time of it is quite limited. But if you would like to hear a little bit more of practical tips on how we try to develop education in Russia, and maybe some of that will be useful for you, then you can read an article that I wrote some time ago for the Ministry of Education. The link will be provided with this video. So I hope you will find something useful in there. And also, I really hope that by our joint efforts in this area of education, we will be worthy of helping Srila Prabhupada to manifest his desire. And this wonderful event of International Educational Conference that is happening these days is the beginning of that. Hare Krishna.
Small surprise, there is part 2. In the previous part of this video, I spoke on general concepts, and some of you might say, those are nice ideas, but he is young, he might not have experience on how it really works, and therefore he is too idealistic. And that is absolutely true. There is a long way to go. But as an inspiration, I would like to list just a few things we do in terms of education in Russia. So just a few examples. First one is ISKCON Disciples course. We have about 80 teachers of this course. Almost in each community there is a teacher, and about 7,000 devotees have passed this course in our country so far. It is about 50% of all the devotees. For those who live too far from the communities, we have organized online course where devotees not just watch videos, but they also have live online sessions with teachers where they can do dramas, have group and pair discussions online. So it's almost like a course that they could pass in their community. Now, Bhakti Shastri. There are about 20 authorized Bhakti Shastri centers in Russia, so devotees can go and study in each of those centers. Of course, there is also online course, which is again designed in a way that there are live sessions with teachers where devotees, they have different discussions. Also about TTC, there are about 1,000 devotees who have passed teacher training courses. Almost every Namahata or Bhakti Vriksha leader, preacher, etc. have passed it. And we also designed a few parts of additional teacher training courses ourselves. So we also have TTC 3 and TTC 4, which are called differently though in Russia. Now, just one more thing about initiation. You can't get second initiation unless you have passed Bhakti Shastri. And for first initiation, we have several different courses, about 1-2 years in length. For example, one course, which is called Bhakti Lata, their devotees not just discuss theory or philosophy, but they study Bhagavad Gita and other books from the view of applying it in their own lives in different spheres. By the way, to make devotees get ready for being serious, we've designed a test with 50 philosophical questions, which person has to be able to elaborately answer before he gets initiated. So that's obligatory. And there are also 50 questions for an interview that help to see how mature his understanding is. So not just knowledge, but also understanding and application. Just to give you a sample, here is one of the questions. If using a magic stick, you could change something in ISKCON around you, what would you change? Why? What can you do without this magic stick? Did you try? And etc. Some other questions that could help to elaborate on this point. Now, Russia is also a very big country with 11 time zones. When it is sunrise in one part of our country, it is already night in another part. So to keep devotees together, we have 3 4-day retreats, which go twice a year, and all main leaders come to study together. Recently, we have organized GBC College just for them. And another last point is devotee care. In most of our communities, before devotee gets initiated, he accepts a counselor who is like a personal coach, you can say. He looks after the devotee, and the devotee can call him anytime to ask a question and get some help. And in order to help those counselors to do their work better, we have courses on that. and give them different materials by which they can conduct their classes. Because sometimes it is quite hard for a devotee to organize a course or to think what he will be speaking during his Namahata he is conducting. So we give him different options of different models, how he can study Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam or other types and other topics like etiquette and etc. So those are just a few areas I have time to mention, and there are much more. And I once again hope that if you will be interested, you can read more in the article and deliberate on it. And I'm willing to share experience as well as I will be glad to hear about your different successful projects so that we could implement them in our country. So please contact me if there is something you would like to share. Thank you very much, and Hare Krishna.